Alright, so today on Cool Graphics with my noble community of chefs, we are going to come up with this stunning flyer animation in Adobe After Effects. Yeah, I'm still working on the After Effects flyer animation crash course. Okay, it will be ready out soon, so grab the resources in this video description below and make sure you subscribe to Cool Graphics, and let's get started. So we are in After Effects and I haven't opened any file. Okay, but before you start or you plan to animate your own flyer, there are a few things you need to do. That is flyer preparation. That's how I love to call it. So this is the flyer that we are going to animate in After Effects. Okay, so the link to this in description. Okay, you can download that. So you have to consider a few things. One of them is, which one of these guys will I be animating? Will I be animating the text? These guys right here, the text? Yes, leave that, each single layer. Okay, all right. Will I be animating these guys? Yes, and you can see that I've merged the shadows together with the phone for simplicity. Okay, this guy and this shadow, see, they are separate. I can, in After Effects, I can parent pick whip that so that it will follow this controller right here. But when you want to make it for simplicity, and for this video, I will select, this is the shadow layer. Okay, the layer is selected and I'll select the controller, Control E. All right, simply right click and then merge layers. Now they are single, I've merged them. Okay, so I'm going to animate this guy and I'm going to animate this, and I will animate each of them so they are single layers. Okay, all right, and then you can see that this guy is rectangle. Check the name. You always have to name your layers so that you find them easily in After Effects. So this is rectangle pod, which means this is the rectangle that this airport or whatever port is on, and I've renamed this guy airport. Okay, so the airport is on the rectangle port, the iWatch is on the rectangle iWatch. Okay, just like that. Name your layers. All right, so the ones that you won't animate, for instance, these guys right here, that's the services. I would have loved to animate them so that they will stagger. Staggering means this guy will pop up first, then this guy follow, so they will be they will be popping up one after the other. Okay, so but we will not be doing that, sake of it might take a lot of time. That will make the video boring, but I took my time and explained all of these, how to do these guys or do those kind of animations in my crash course, and it will be ready very soon. Okay, I'm still cooking. So if you check here, I have services group. It's a group and I've grouped them, all these guys, but they are single layers. Okay, but since I won't be animating each one of them, I will have to merge, right click and then merge the group. So anytime you are preparing your flyers, just this is the process. Always merge those guys, that so that you limit the number of layers and it will not confuse you. Simple. All right, so but I've done these things already. Either if you check the file, the PSD file, and it is not like that, don't blame me, just use this process. Okay, and but if I've already done that, then this is what I just want you to know. So now we are moving into After Effects. All right, so kindly launch your After Effects. Maybe some of you have already learned that. Do I have to say that? No, let's go. So we are back in After Effects. Okay, but if you are not seeing this, you know, for beginners, they always want to start where you start. Do what you do. They just do things like how I copy during examination. You see, back then when I want to copy, it's like, for me, copying means copying. You see, when you copy and paste something, it doesn't leave something behind. So me, when I'm copying you in class or during the examination, when you breathe, I breathe. When you write, I write. When you look left, I look left. You scratch your head, I'll scratch everything. That means copying. So if you're not seeing what you're seeing right here, go to File, New, and then New Project. It will look like this. Okay, so if you check here is the media panel, and locate where you've downloaded this guy, drag him and drop over here. So if this guy comes or pops up, editable layer styles. Okay, click OK. Okay, so let's quickly do this so that we all can go and eat gobe. All right, so you will see gadgets and gadget layers. Don't touch the gadget layers. Double click on the gadgets composition and it opens up like this. Okay, so if you see anyone, then just click OK. Now let's this is what we are going to animate, and if yours is not zoomed out like mine, you can zoom in and out using the magnification pop-up ratio. You drop this. Right now I'm on 25. If I select 50, I come closer, I zoom in. Right now I'm on 25, so you can set yours to 25. Now these are the eyes. Okay, all eyes on me and all eyes are watching. Let's hide. Just like in Photoshop, you can turn off all the eyes. So let's start from the background. Let's turn on the eye for the background, and this is the background image. The next, okay, so turn it on. Now for this rectangle, that's the black rectangle. Okay, we are going to animate this. So with this rectangle, hit P on the keyboard for position, and with the move tool, you can simply drag this guy up. Okay, when you are moving it up, hold the shift, else you might move it somewhere else. Okay, so we move it here. That's where you want to start. But when we moved, you can see that this guy changed. If I undo that, this guy will pop back 750. So anytime you want to move something on the y-axis, you simply have to copy the original, or you have to write it down. For me, I'm copying this 750. Okay, I can simply record that. But so when you copy, then you move it somewhere else outside. Okay, it has changed, but since we have the original position, you can animate. So we are starting at 0 because this guy is the first animation. So click the stop clock or stopwatch, click it, and we have added a keyframe over here. Okay, so how long do we want the duration? Okay, how long do we want it to take before the rectangle comes to the original position? Let's say half a second. Okay, so we drag this guy here, and then we can paste in the position that it was. Okay, so simple animation done. So this guy, when I play, it pops in, but the animation is quite linear. So I'll drag this guy closer and then highlight the two. For you, you can hit F9 for easy ease, but for me, I will right click because I'm recording. When I hit F9, it will stop. Okay, so I right click on the keyframe and keyframe assistant. For me, I will choose easy ease. You see the shortcut is F9. Click on that and it will turn into a hourglass, the glass with sand in it. So if I play back, okay, and when I want to zoom in on a keyframe, you can use this bar right here. If you drag it to the right, I'm zooming in. Okay, so even though they break into microseconds, so I can drag this guy closer so that it will be very faster, but we will use the speed graph. Okay, so just like that, but it is straight and linear. So if you want to tweak it, you know, maybe it comes with it starts with a speed, then slows down. You can use the speed graph. You can simply select these two guys, come to the speed graph. But one thing is that your speed graph will be different and you might think you are stuck. So if you don't get it, it doesn't look like mine, don't use the speed graph. So when you come in, there's the speed graph. Okay, when you come, click here and you enter the speed graph. Right, if you're not seeing this, right click and make sure the edit speed graph is checked. If yours is checked, you can simply drag over these two anchor points. If it is looking like this, drag over these two anchor points and handles will appear, these yellow stuffs. I don't know the color of yours. So you can drag this guy here so that, you know, if you loved mathematics like how I hated mathematics, you understand this curve. So it starts with a high velocity, then slows down when it is approaching 0. So okay, if you don't like it, then, or if you want it to be slow, then increase the duration. Okay, so this is cool. I think this is cool. Okay, so this guy ends here. Okay, and the next thing that we are going to animate is probably the text, the typography. So this guy pops up and then the typography comes in. So we need to look for the typography. So let's scroll up. Okay, and this is the guard and the gets and the palace. These are the guys that we are going to animate next. So if I drag this guy back, you can see there is movement. That's the animation. So the moment I drag it here, even though I'm not looking or I'm not seeing the keyframes in here, we can simply, when this guy stops, we can simply animate these guys and we can tweak them later. So first of all, let's turn the eye on for the guard, and this is a typography in Photoshop, but it is just a rigid layer in here. So to make it an editable text in After Effects, we simply have to right click and then go to create and convert to editable text. Now it becomes After Effects editable text. Okay, so we can, okay, when we get there, we will do the same thing for the get and the palace for my Niger people. So when it is done like this, you will see an arrow over here. Drop the arrow, okay, and you will see animate. Click on this animate and choose scale. All right, so another options will appear down here. You will see add. Let's add a property. Okay, don't add a selector, add a property, and then the property we are picking opacity. So for the scale over here, you see scale and opacity. You're going to set the scale to 0 and we're going to set the opacity to 0. Okay, and then we will see range selector 1. Drop this range selector 1. You will see offset. Okay, so add, click on the stop watch for the offset and set it to -100. Okay, so you see you have a keyframe over here. Now move forward a little. Okay, we can change this later. So when you move forward a little, you drag the offset back to 100. Okay, and now you will see advanced over here, advanced settings. Drop the advanced. You will see shape, not shape, shape, ASHAPE. Drop this and choose ramp up. All right, now for the ease low, make it 100. Okay, and for the ease high, make it 25. I think this is clear. Okay, let me just type 25. All right, so let's look at the animation. So this guy, let's start from scratch. This guy comes, this guy pops up. Okay, so let's look at where the duration between them, it stops, this guy pops up. I think it's cool. Okay, so one thing that I need to touch on is for my the duration for my composition is, I think, 15 seconds, right? If I drag this guy, I think it's 15 seconds. If yours is not 15 seconds, you can stop where you are, go to composition and composition settings, and you can change it here. So if you want 15 seconds, it should be 0015. Okay, this is simple math. All right, so if let's drag this to zoom in so that we see the keyframes. So does it, okay, the black guy pops in and then the text appears. So highlight these two guys. You can hit F9 for easy ease, or right click and then keyframe assistant easy ease. Okay, okay, so that is that, and we can simply scroll up. Okay, and collapse. Is it collapsing? Okay, so whilst this guard is selected, you can hit U on the keyboard to only show the keyframes. Okay, so we only have the offset. All right, so we have to do this for the, what do you call it, get. So whilst, no, when this finish the animation, the gets also come. So let's turn the eye for the gets. Okay, let's select the gets. It is not editable, but we will still animate the palace. So let's select the two, right click and then right click and create, convert to editable text. Now we can simply add you. I want you to select the get, drop, animate. We are using the same animation. Okay, go to animate and where scale. Okay, it will expand more. Don't be afraid. Add property opacity. So if it is getting down, scroll down, and then you set the scale to 0, opacity to 0. You will see range selector 1, drop it, and offset. So where you are, add offset, click the stopwatch, set it to -100, go forward a little, and then set it to +100. After that, you will see advance, drop the advance. You see shape, drop it, ramp up, and then ease low, set it to 100, ease high, set it to 25. After that, you can highlight these two guys, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and then it is long. Okay, so we need to make it simple. So close it and then hit U to show only the keyframe so that we can have control over it. So this is it. Okay, so if you want this guy to stop, the moment it stops, then the next guy continue, or you can drag these guys, highlight, okay, and drag in here. So it is like that. It'll start halfway. Okay, if it is too fast, you can simply stretch these guys so that you slow down. Okay, if you stretch this guy here, see, so the duration, you can expand the duration. Okay, but I don't think you want that. So for me, I will simply just drag these guys here. Why am I not selecting? Somebody controlling my computer from somewhere, because the other time somebody changed my wallpaper. So anyways, that is that, but time is going, so let's continue from there. I think this is cool. All right, so the moment this guy stops, the palace should also appear. Okay, so we are keeping these guys so that we can know where to now let me scroll down a little and let's turn on the eye for the palace. We've already converted that into, what do we call it, text, editable text. So let's select the palace. I'm not saying palace, palace. So for this palace text right here, is going to be a different one. So let's drop this. Okay, and we will see animate. This one, not scale, position, and position will be added, and we will see add. Let's add property opacity. Okay, so for the position, for the second one, it moves on a y-axis. Okay, let's drop it down somewhere here. It's cool. Okay, for mine is 80, and let's set the opacity to 0, and we will see range selector 1. Let's drop the range selector 1, and let's add offset, set it to -100, and let's take it forward, and whoa, let's come back. Okay, let's come back. When you hold shift, you can pan on this. Let's set it to -100. It was -898, I think. So let me move forward and set it to +100. All right, now we scroll down, we will see advanced. Let's drop the advanced shape to ramp up, and ease high, let's set it to 25, and ease low 100. Drag these guys, drag over these guys, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and then we can close this U on the keyboard to show, and now we can see the animation. So it is very quick, so we need to drag one here. Okay, so I think this is cool. Okay, so time is going and we need to move on. So now, which one is the next? I think the services. Okay, I would love to bring in the services, and the services is this. So let's turn on the eye for the services. Now this is where this guy ends. Okay, so let's say it won't end or let's say when it ends. So over here, this is the service. Make sure you have the services selected and hit P on the keyboard for position. This is where we want to on the x-axis. Okay, it will come from the right. So let's copy the current position 750. Okay, and make sure you have the services selected, please. We can move him outside. Okay, outside here you can use the move tool, but when you're moving, hold shift to move in a straight line. And now I can click on the stopwatch to add a keyframe, move forward a little, and paste in the original position. And I'll highlight these two guys. You can hit F9. I'll right click, okay, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and I'll have a preview. Okay, so if you want, you can bring it closer to this guy so that it won't finish animating, then the services comes in. Okay, that is that. So you can play with the duration. When you stretch it, it will become slower. So you can do this. I'm just showing you the way and time is going, because animation videos it's very long. Okay, so we have that. This guy comes in, and I think the next thing is the popping up of the squares. So we can scroll down, and we should start from rectangle pod. Okay, so this is the rectangle pod. All right, okay, so there's a rectangle pod. So take a closer, you need to pay attention over here. So the moment this guy comes in, this pod has to appear. So with this one, we are scaling. Okay, it will scale up. So with the rectangle pod selected, hit S on the keyboard and the scale will come. So the scale is at 100. Okay, but we want to start animating it from scale 0. So you will change it to 0. Okay, and it is 0. It disappears. So make sure you have the rectangle selected, please. Now we hit the stop watch, and now we move for a duration. Okay, and then we scale it back to 100. Okay, I made it 10. Let me make it 100. All right, so it scales back. I'll highlight the two and then make them easy ease. Okay, so the reason why I'm right clicking, I've said that already. And we can go to the speed graph, highlight these two, and then I'll drag this handle closer. Should it be, or should it be like that? Let me drag this guy here. Okay, if you want, you can ignore the speed graph. Okay, so you see where this guy is coming from. She is coming from here. We want it to come from the middle. Why is it not coming from the middle? That is because you see this is the anchor point, and this is where, if I drag it back, you can see it is coming out of the anchor point in here. Okay, for this part, let me zoom in, let me fit it. This is the anchor point, so we need to make the anchor point, bring the anchor point in the middle. So with this guy right here, the pan behind anchor point to Y, we can simply drag this guy in the middle of the shape. Okay, and I think if it doesn't, did I say all right? So it pops out from the anchor point, and this is what we want. Okay, it pops up like that. And okay, so this is cool, this is good, this is good. And we need to copy this. We can copy this. Okay, copy, highlight the keyframes, copy. And now let's select the pod, rectangle watch. Okay, this guy, and we can paste what we copied for the scale. Okay, and we can hit S on the keyboard. And now this one too is also scaling from the anchor point somewhere. We don't want that, we want it to. So all we need to do is, with the I rectangle selected, we have the pan or I on the keyboard. We can bring it to the middle, and it will, scale from the center. All right, so we are done, and we can bring, the moment this guy pops up, okay, we can tweak the positions, but the moment the guy pops up somewhere here, we need to go to the next. So that's rectangle VR. Okay, we can turn on the I, and with the Y, let's bring the anchor points in the middle before we even paste the scale. So Control V, paste. Okay, if you want to see S on the keyboard while you have the VR selected, the keyframes will appear. Now let's go to rectangle laptop. Okay, let's turn on the I and let's paste. Control V, we are pasting the scales. Hit S for the anchor points, and we need to bring this guy here because it should be step by step. So we have this. Okay, so this guy is coming from an unknown anchor point, so let's bring the anchor points in the middle. So that's okay, should have done this. So these are the 4 keyframes, okay, for each layer. Okay, so all right, so if you want, okay, so this guy, these two got speed graph edited. So if you go back, if you select these two, let me see if there's speed graph. Okay, I think they are all the same, but you can select these two, drag them here so that one won't finish animating and then the rest, the other one will pop in. Okay, so maybe here and here so that they will stagger. Let me see. I think I'll push this guy out. Okay, so that's it. And I think if you drag this guy up here, when you space them, one will delay. Okay, so that's how you can tweak them. I'm just showing you the way. Okay, so I think I love that, but let me space in this guy, these guys, so that's it's okay. And now the gadgets have to appear, and to make things look very simpler and easier for us, let's select all that we have the scale open. So let's select the rectangle one, rectangle pod, rectangle iWatch, rectangle VR. Let's go up and select the rectangle laptop. Okay, hit U on the keyboard. Okay, so we collapse them. Now things could look easier for us. Now let's select the airport. Okay, and let's turn it on. Now let's zoom in to 100. Okay, or 100. Okay, let's make it. And when you hit spacebar, you press spacebar and click and drag, you move. So let's move it from 100 to, let's make it 50. Okay, so 50 is cool. Now let's go to the top, select the topmost layer, the guard. Okay, and you can hit U for the keyframes. We just don't want to have any layer selected, so let's click the empty spaces, and now we don't have any layer selected. Okay, so with that we can create a rectangle. So let's grab the rectangle tool. Okay, and let's create a rectangle starting from the tip of this, the bottom of this rectangle. So let's create a rectangle like that, a long one like this. Okay, so we have this rectangle, and we need to move this rectangle on top of this airport. So let's click and drag it down. So we need to scroll down. If it is not working, like mine is not working right here, let's hit Control, and with the open curly bracket, hold Control and be tapping on the open curly bracket or open bracket. It will be going down, the layer will be going down just like in Photoshop. Okay, so when you reach the airport layer, I think we should be on top of the airport layer. Okay, all right, so the shape, that the rectangle that we've created is this, and this is the airport. Okay, so let's hide the rest of the shapes. Okay, let's hide the lap, VR, and then iWatch. Now we have these two. Okay, so let's, with this airport selected, what we are coming to do is we are coming to track matte. So if check here, if you don't see the T matte, toggle this and you will see the T matte. Okay, the toggle switches. Okay, so where it is set to none under track matte, when you select it or drop this, you see a bunch of these guys. Alpha matte, alpha inverted matte. What this alpha matte simply means is that when we alpha matte, you see that the shape layer, this is the shape layer that we created, the pink guy. I don't know the color of yours. So if we click this, it means when we move this airport over here, that's when it will only be visible. But when it is outside the shape, it won't be visible. So the moment I click the shape will be hidden, and you see the port will be hidden. But the alpha matte means it is not within this shape. Okay, it is not within this boundary. So only if the airport is in this boundary, that will be visible. So if you go to the airport and then the Y position, we try to bring it down, you see it becomes visible. Okay, so now the thing is, if you want it to be visible outside this shape but not when it is in here, then we drop this. We won't choose the alpha shape, we will rather invert it. So when we click this, you see that this guy gets hidden, but the port is still visible, which means if we move the airport in the shape, it will be hidden in the boundaries of that shape. It is now hidden. So right now what we are going to do is we are going to use this. So where it is right now, where this port is right now, make sure you move it, okay, but not far. So where it is right now, we are going to start animating this from there. So we add a position keyframe, we move forward, okay, and now we bring it back to where it is. I think it was 750, so let me punch 750, and after that I will just drag over these two guys and then right click on a keyframe. Why is it not working? Assistant and easy ease. Okay, so now let's look at it. So it looks like it is coming out of this. Okay, it is coming out and just like that. So okay, we can just open up, select the two, go to speed graph, drag over these guys, anchor points, and then I can just do something like this. And now let's see. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so if you spacing them, okay, all right, so now let me zoom out. All right, so we have our first pod. Now we can turn on this. No, don't turn this guy on. Turn the rectangle watch and the rectangle VR and then the rectangle pod. So there will be animation. Okay, let's go to 33 and let's fit, select fit. Okay, so let's check the animation. Okay, so we only have this. So the moment the last guy pops up like this and this guy pops, okay, so we can simply drag them here so that, okay, so for the next one is, I think, the rectangle eye watch. Okay, so you simply select this and you can duplicate this shape layer. Okay, when you hit Ctrl D, you can duplicate and drag one on top of the eye watch itself. So turn on the eye watch, but this guy is hidden, so unhide it, and it is here with the move tool. Make sure you hit the move tool and you can bring it here, but make sure you zoom in, okay, to 100 with the space bar. When you press space bar and you click, you can move here and see what is happening. So you have to bring it directly below this shape, but it should be on top of the eye watch layer. Okay, so this is the eye watch and this is the new shape. So you select the eye watch, you come to track matte and then invert it. Okay, so you hit P on the eye watch. For position, we need to move on the Y, so we drag it down, it will be hidden. Now you see part of this is hidden because if we turn on the shape only covers this place. So what we can do is simply let's select the shape layer and drag it here, but make sure when you're moving on the right, use shift, you move on a straight line. So we cover that. Now that was just by the way. Now we can hide it and there's the iWatch. Okay, it is now hidden. We don't have to hit it very far, just tip. We add a keyframe, we move forward, and then we set it back to where it was 750, and now we have it like that. Control, should it be control, highlight these guys, right click, and then easy ease. So we can simply drag over these on there and then move this guy here. Okay, I think this is cool. All right, so we can drag them here so that one will, so let's check. Okay, I think the playback is very slow, but when they load up it, I think. Okay, so let me drag these guys back here. Okay, all right, so when you want to apply this to the, now we are done with this. Okay, so you need to, I'm not doing all this in here, so you need to duplicate this layer on top of the VR. You turn on the VR. Okay, you can zoom out and zoom in anytime you want. Okay, so you select the VR, hide the VR, you duplicate this guy, the shape, and you bring it on top of the VR. Okay, not directly on top of the VR, and you unhide the shape. It is here, it has to be on top of the VR, so you bring it on top, but it should be at the bottom because that's where we'll be unhiding it from. And if it is thin, make sure you widen it up so that it will cover it, and then you select the VR. Okay, and then you track alpha inverted. Okay, the shape will be hidden but the VR will not be. Hit P for position, bring it below, drag it down so that it will be hidden, then you add a keyframe, you move. I said I won't do, but I'm doing. Okay, you move and then you bring it back to where it was 750. You select, highlight, drag, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, you bring it here so that you can go to graph, highlight, drag this guy back. Okay, now you can see. Okay, all right, so do this for the next one, and I think for the rest, let me unhide these guys. So kindly do the last one for the last one so that the last one will be last one. So I'm done with mine. Okay, there's mine. All right, now let's go to the phone very quick because this is taking too long. So this is the phone, right? Let's unhide the phone, and the moment this guy completes, the phone will also start, but the phone has to start outside. So let's drag it outside like that, not too far, and let's add a keyframe. Let's go forward and let's bring it back to 750 where it was. Okay, so highlight these guys, right click, you can hit F9 shortcut and keyframe assistant, easy ease. Let's go to the graph, highlight. If you want to zoom in on the highlight the graph so that you see the handles very well, you can just zoom in like that and can drag this guy here. All right, so let me see. Okay, so the playback is very poor. Let me play it back again. So if it delays, you can drag it here and we can close up in here. All right, now let's go to the controller. On the controller, so the moment the phone comes, the controller will start animating. So on the controller, hit P. Okay, and let's drag the controller outside. Okay, and hit the stop clock. Let's go forward a little and let's bring the controller back to its original 750. Okay, and highlight, right click, easy ease, go to the graph and drag over these for the handles and let's tweak it. Okay, so let's play back. Now let's play back again. Okay, let me see. Okay, so can drag this here, drag this here so that it will follow. So if it is too fast, kindly tweak that. Okay, time, I'm just looking at all right, so now let's go to the rest, and this rectangle will come from the bottom. So select the rectangle P, and on the Y axis let's drag it down and hit the stop, go forward a little, and then bring it back to 750. Keyframe assistant, easy ease, go to the graph, let me zoom in and drag over these two, drag this guy here. All right, now we can bring it here and spacing up, let me see. Okay, that's cool. All right, and then the rest. Okay, so let me on these guys, and there's the, I think this is the WhatsApp icon and then the Twitter icon. Hold shift to select all of them, and then hit T for opacity. Okay, now let's set the opacity to 0, and the moment this guy pops out, or when it is about to complete its animation, let's hit the stopwatch. It will be added for the rest. Okay, auto save. What are you doing? Now let's go forward a little. The moment it completes, we send these guys opacity back to 100. Okay, that's it. So let me zoom out. You can add the keyframe assistance on that. So this is the complete animation. So the playback is very poor, but you can check that. Okay, when it plays, it completes, the green bar fills, everything is smooth now. Okay, so with this opacity, guys, let me stretch them because the opacity is quite short. All right, so thanks guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. This is Cool Graphics, today Design Chef, and I'm out. I'm going to eat gobe. Peace.